on, everybody? It's Evil Eddie from Pure Evil MMA, back again to do another live stream for everybody. I know it's been a little while, but I'm back, and we have a huge card coming up tomorrow with UFC Brasilia Fight Night 95, Cyborg versus Landsberg. It was kind of a dramatic week for Cyborg, but then again, you know what? She's 145, usually fighting at, and now she's supposed to make 140. People don't realize this. 5 pounds is a lot to lose, and it can take a lot away from the fight. God bless Landsberg for stepping up here. We have a lot to discuss today. I'm going to be giving everybody the predictions for UFC Brazil. But before we start today's show, make sure you guys all give me a follow on Twitter at evil_echo. That's EVIL_ECCO. Of course, I do my live stream with Ted Check every Wednesday night, and we have an open chat room for that as well. But I've been getting a lot of requests lately to just, do my regular thing, come on here and talk some MMA with all of you guys. And I'm looking forward to it. Of course, you guys all know me from Pure Evil MMA podcast up on Apple iTunes. It is actually just getting over Batman week. I know they had official Batman Day, so salute to that, all my Batman fans out there as well. We got a crazy card tomorrow, and once again, it is a free card, and I hope that all of you guys were able to watch today's weigh-ins. Chris Cyborg, all the talk was about her all week long. Was she going to make 140 pounds catch weight? And of course, you ranked in on Sunday night, I think it was, saying that she was 165 pounds. So we were all like, wow, how is she going to lose 25 pounds by Friday? And we all remembered last time around when there was that video that was released of her literally just breaking down crying because it was just so painful for her to lose all that weight. She went right in there though, let alone the weight cut, and put on one hell of a performance at UFC 198 in Brazil. So of course, Landsberg taking the fight, she was like, I'm not going to fight her if she's not making this weight. But then again, hon, if she didn't make this weight, you would have got a lot of money for this. So either way, I doubt you would have been backing out of this fight. A lot of people out there are giving Landsberg no chance at all though. Here's why I'm going to go against that. I actually think it might go into later rounds than we're used to. And I'm going to be talking about that in a second. But what a crazy night of fights. I'm going to be previewing the main card. There's a couple really good fights out there before that. Eric Spicely versus Santos. I'm looking forward to that. Of course, we remember Spicely from the season Ultimate Fighter that just passed, Team Joanna, Team Claudia Gadella. And I actually got to interview one of the people who fought Eric Spicely in the past. You guys can find that down below in Pure Evil MMA archive with fighter interviews. Eric Spicely not doing too hot once coming off this season Ultimate Fighter. Of course, he's been fighting more than anyone that came out of that season so far because he was one of the biggest prospects coming into this year, 2016, with an 8-2 record. They threw him right into the wolf den, too. His last fight was against Smiling Sam Alvey, and we all remember what happened there. He got submitted up against the cage. Eric was actually trying to push off the cage behind him and just couldn't do it and just went limp. Eric Spicely just on a crazy roll. That was his first fight in the UFC. So here we go. His second fight, I think that fight was a month ago now, but his second fight, another killer, a top 15 guy as well, Thiago Santos, and we know him from how long ago? So great fight. I think Santos has enough to take it, but Spicely really trying to prove himself. He has his back up against the wall, and Thiago Santos as well is coming off a loss. His last fight was Gegard Mousasi. He's gone in there. He's literally killed people in there. Elias Thurdo, Steve Bosse, Andrew Enns. He has a loss to Uriah Hall. But yeah, Thiago Santos ranked number 15, 13-4 record coming out of Brazil. And Brazil always puts on one hell of a show. Those fans out there go absolutely nuts. So he has a lot of pressure on him at the weigh-ins. Everyone, if you're not from Brazil, you're getting booed. I'm sorry. And you better get used to it. And I actually have an interview with Paul Felder. That's actually down below too if you guys want to check that out. He talks about his upcoming fight with Trinaldo. And I asked him the same question, you're going to Brazil. We all saw what happened to Matt Brown when he went down there last time around at UFC 198. He got beat up by the crowd. The crowd's booing him. Then fight night, he starts walking out. They're grabbing at his shirt, ripping his hat off. The following day, even he gets attacked by some crazy gym member that he used to be friends with. from a gym that he used to train at. Just crazy. So I asked him, how are you going to deal with that? And of course, Paul Felder is more of a veteran fighter than Eric Spicely is. So I'm interested to see how he's going to handle this pressure. He's in a tight spot coming off the season Ultimate Fighter, being a huge prospect and losing your first 2 fights. You don't want to do that. Like a lot of people say, it's harder to stay in the UFC than it is to even get to the UFC. So here we go. Santos, I'm going for him to win that fight, probably by knockout. Eric Spicely needs to really be patient in this fight and not get too overwhelmed here. And of course, the fight after that, been dying to talk about this, been dying for this fight. Tyron Woodley even says this is the fight that you're all going to want to watch. This could have been a main event card as well. Paul Felder, 12-2, going up against Francisco Trinaldo. This could be fight of the year. It has fight of the year written all over it. At least fight of the night. Paul Felder has 2 fight of the night bonuses already. So maybe even more. I know he has a new little baby, so a nice $50K check wouldn't do him much harm. Paul Felder coming off a huge win up against Berkman, and he's been on a 2-fight win streak. This would make it 3. His last loss was to Ross Pearson and, of course, Edson Barboza. And that was kind of a controversial fight right there. The Edson Barboza fight, I thought that Paul did enough to win that. If you look back at that fight, he beat up Edson Barboza. He landed some nice shots. You got to watch out for Paul Felder's kicks here. Trinaldo, of course, hometown favorite, but Paul's saying all the pressure's on Trinaldo. He's going to come in here. He's going to make show stopping. He's only 32 years old, got great kicking game, always putting pressure, always coming to bring on a great fight. Let's see if any of you guys are in the chat room. We'll see what's going on in there. I want to know, what fight are you guys most looking forward to coming up? I'm excited about this. We got a couple people in the chat room. Let me pull that up really quick. Very exciting fights. And all of these cards, every single bout right here, could easily be a main event for one of these free cards. UFC has literally been spoiling us lately with amazing events. And if you follow Twitter at all, you're going to see a lot of people that like to complain on there. And it's just crazy because we've been absolutely spoiled this year, 2016. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? We have week after week after week of all these killer cards. After this week, we're looking at Lineker versus John Dodson. Another free card. That's UFC Fight Night, live and free on FS1. That's coming up. John Dodson just put on a hell of a show not too long ago. And same with Hands of Stone Lineker. Then after that, UFC 204. Then after that, UFC Fight Night, Ricardo Lamas versus BJ Penn. We're just spoiled lately. So anyone out there that's saying this card shit, you guys are crazy. Because the fight coming up after Trinaldo versus Felder, and first off, my pick right there, Paul Felder. This fight could easily go to decision. Paul really wants this win. He thinks he can get it. He has all the tools to beat Francisco Trinaldo, who's an older fighter, by the way. 20-4 record going up against Paul, who's 12-2. This will be huge for Paul if he makes this win right here. Trinaldo has been on a tear lately too. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 fight win streak. If Paul can bring that to an end, wow. And like I said at the beginning of this prediction, Tyron Woodley saying that Paul Felder's the fighter to watch and that it's going to be fireworks. I cannot wait for that. If you guys want to hear the complete interview, it's down below. So make sure you guys subscribe, any of my new listeners out there. And make sure you guys all check out Pure Evil MMA podcast up on Apple iTunes. Give us a follow on Twitter at evil_echo. That's EVIL_ECCO. And I actually just made a new page for all my Pure Evil MMA followers out there. Shout out to the Pure Evil Army. But I just made a new Twitter page. So now all you got to do is use @ Pure Evil MMA, and you'll find me right there. Just as simple like that. Just that simple. So if Paul Felder can bring home that W, it's going to be huge for his career, putting a stop to Francisco Trinaldo's 6-fight win streak. Absolute killer. He was a champion in his last division that he was in, last corporation. I think it was the CFFC. I'm pretty positive. So after that, we got Roy Nelson, Big Country, going up against Antonio Bigfoot Silva, who's in a tough place right now. He lost his last 2 fights. Stefan Struve knocked him out in like 17 seconds, I think it was. The fight before that, the Mark Hunt rematch, came to an end abruptly in that very first round. His last win was UFC 190, Ronda Rousey night, So, and that was against Seo Polelli. And before that, he lost to Frank Mir. Before that, he lost to Andre Arlovski. Before that, he lost to Cain Velasquez. So, very rocky couple of fights for Bigfoot. And he's had a lot of controversy lately with a lot of the fans getting really angry at what some of the people are saying on Twitter. And I don't blame them. You just can't let that stuff get under your skin, though. But with a 19-9 record coming in here, he's got agility. He's not the fastest of dudes, but neither is Roy Nelson. Roy Nelson can take a punch, though. We know that from his last dozen fights. We watched him come up on that season Ultimate Fighter with Brendan Schaub, Kimbo Slice, Matt Mitrione. And of that season of those guys, Roy Nelson's all we got left. And he was the winner of that season when he knocked out Brendan Schaub for the finale of Ultimate Fighter. I think that was, season 12? Correct me if I'm wrong. Huge night for Roy Nelson. Here, if he beats Bigfoot Silva, I'm looking forward to it. What do you guys think is going to be fight of the night, though? Which fight are you guys most looking forward to? Because there's so many great ones. There's so many great cards here. Bigfoot going up against Roy Nelson. And Roy Nelson with a 22-13 record. That means he's got almost 40 fights on his belt. He's no joke. And he was way before the UFC even signed him. He was just killing people with that vicious ground and pound. As soon as he's on top of you, you can't get him off. But then again, Bigfoot Silva is huge. I mean, let's see. See how big Bigfoot Silva is. I think his shoe, he has like a size 18 shoe or something crazy like that. So Roy Nelson is 72 inches going up against 76 and 6'4" Bigfoot Silva. It's going to be a great fight. I think Roy Nelson has what it takes. I will not be surprised if this fight is finished in that first round. Roy Nelson put on one hell of a fight against Derek Lewis, and a very controversial fight that was too. I thought Derek Lewis had that fight. He was destroying Roy Nelson. Roy Nelson was literally using a lot of wrestling there and pushing Derek Lewis up against the cage, and Derek just really couldn't do anything. He was literally just standing there. He's such a big dude that Roy couldn't even do anything. He was just trying to hold him down because every time Derek Lewis landed a punch, it hurt. At one point, they even thought that Roy Nelson's tooth came flying out. I think Bigfoot Silva could get a knockout here, but Roy Nelson is looking a little better lately for me. I'm going with Bigfoot to lose this. And if he does, I would not be surprised if the UFC cuts him. He's been having a really hard time lately. Roy Nelson with the knockout win in via the second round. I think Bigfoot's going to get a little tired in that second round. We've seen it. We've seen his cardio before in that Mark Hunt fight. I think he's going to run down Roy Nelson, and Roy Nelson is going to get this win in the second round. Here we go. Co-main event. Renan Barão, who's also in a tight situation. Very tight situation. Former bantamweight champ, interim champ, and champ up until TJ Dillashaw came and just took him out of that. Philip Nover coming in to fight Renan Barão. This is his second contract now with the UFC. I got to speak with him 2 weeks ago on Cage-Side Submissions. So you guys can look that up. That's actually on iTunes and Stitcher. So just search Cage-Side Submissions. Of course, shout out to Steve and Rachel Blaze. That's a great podcast based out of Philadelphia. Hooking it up all the time. They just have all the Invicta girls who are actually fighting tonight. So make sure you guys check that out after the live stream. I'm going to go run into the living room and catch the rest of that as well. But before I get out of it, yeah, I spoke to Philip Nover. He's calm, comfortable in this fight. He thinks that he found a hole in Renan Barão's game. And a big thing for him here would be his jiu-jitsu. He does not want to stand and strike with Renan Barão. That is a huge mistake. Renan's coming off a huge loss to Jeremy Stephens, where he actually is saying, as of this morning, that he thought he actually won that fight. I didn't think so. I think Jeremy Stephens absolutely mauled Renan Barão, even at those weigh-ins the day before. Renan Barão came walking in. Jeremy Stephens was like, nope. Literally threw Renan Barão off the stage, it almost seemed like. Made Renan really seem small. This is a great matchup for both guys. Both guys actually in the same position. If you ask me, they're both in tight spots. Philip Nover really wants this win. It would be the biggest win of his career. Coming off the season 8 Ultimate Fighter, we all remember him. That was a great season. But Renan Barão, former champion, has lost his last couple of fights. Really hasn't been the same since his fight with TJ Dillashaw or the rematch with TJ Dillashaw. Just can't find his way. So he was forced to change weight classes. 35-4 record. Today at the weigh-ins, I was checking him out. He looks absolutely great. He's happy, comfortable, calm, cool, and relaxed. And that's what we like to see coming into fights here. No pressure on his shoulders, it seemed like. He seems comfortable. He's sleeping at home in Brazil. Well, you can't ask for anything better. And that Brazilian crowd brings such a great energy for these Brazilian fighters. Always putting on a great show. So I'm looking forward to that. I think Renan Barão has what it takes if they stay up on their feet here. Philip Novers, if he's smart, he's going to try to get to the ground, try to just ground and pound Renan Barão. That's his strength right there. If Philip Novers can do that somehow, he's an explosive fighter. He's got heavy hands. He's got great submission skills. He has 6 wins by submission. 1 win by knockout. But Renan Barão, man, you want to talk of an explosive fighter with huge leg kicks that are just devastating. And those hurt. I don't know if any of you guys out there been into any fights or have been kicked before, at least. You do not want to get kicked by Renan Barão. Of course, he has 8 wins by knockout, 15 wins by submission, and 12 of those wins coming via decision. He has great submission skills, amazing striking, and a great team that he trains with. He trains with Jose Aldo, Claudio Gadelha, all those guys there. Kind of going through a hard time. Congratulations to Jose Aldo winning his last fight against Frankie Edgar. And, of course, last night, Frankie Edgar announced he's going to be fighting Jeremy Stephens at UFC 205. We're going to be talking about that in the next episode of Pure Evil MMA webisodes. Make sure you guys all subscribe down below. Every Wednesday night, I go live with Ted Check. You guys all know who Ted Check is. If you're here on YouTube and you follow MMA, you know damn well who Ted Check is. So we do that show every Wednesday night. Make sure you guys check it out. Open and live chat room. We gave everybody our predictions this Wednesday. We actually had a fun segment set up as well, and you guys can check that out. I actually have that clip down below. I took it out of the show. I asked everybody if you could pick 5 UFC fighters if it was the end of the world and you had to make a squad to protect you and your family, to, pretty much Walking Dead style. Who would the 5 UFC fighters on your team be? So I came up with a pretty good list. Of course, you want a bigger guy. I keep saying this. You gotta want to mix it up. You want a bigger guy, a smaller guy to run around, sneak. You want a girl there at least. I picked Jessica Evil Eye, only fitting for the Pure Evil MMA army. If you ask me, I wanted a bigger guy. I picked Mark Hunt. There he is right there in the corner, or in this corner, or no, that corner. Everything's ass backward. But yeah, make sure you guys go check that out down below. Subscribe. Getting into our main event, I know you all have been waiting for this fight. This is going to be Cyborg's second fight in the UFC, and I am so pumped for it. There was a lot of speculation here that if she was going to be able to make this weight cut, she was supposed to lose 25 pounds. She reported Saturday night. Come today, man, she came within 1 pound of 140 pounds. So congratulations to Cris Cyborg. I do not know if that was any PR stunts there. Maybe they were trying to hype the focus up a little bit on how crazy these weight cuts are, even though there are some new weight cutting guidelines now. But, they're really trying to open up that new division for these females, whether it's going to be a lower weight division for the girls or a higher weight division. The girls always come and put on a great show, headlining some of the biggest cards this year. UFC 200 was headlined by Miesha Tate. Come on, some of the biggest fights this year and last year have all been the female division. Valentina Shevchenko, who I actually just got to meet at Lion Fight 31, she is going to be fighting very soon. She's now ranked 3rd in the bantamweight division. You know what? With a person like Cris Cyborg at 140 pounds, 145 pounds, whatever they decide to do, you have a person like that leading the torch, making way for champion. You don't have a better person there. So you got Joanna Jędrzejczyk, strawweight. You got Ronda Rousey. Well, she's not champion anymore. But then you got Cris Cyborg. 3 leading women right there. The floor is theirs. I think they were trying to bring a lot of attention with this. Of course, they have a documentary crew following Cris Cyborg around. And they found Landsberg, who's going to be taking on Cris Cyborg tomorrow. The Elbow Queen. I've been calling her the Elbow Princess because I don't think she's got a man. 6-1. Of course, she's got great Muay Thai and kickboxing skills. And I think that she believes she has a game plan to take Cris Cyborg out. And we've seen it happen before a couple times. Cris Cyborg has 1 MMA loss and 1 Muay Thai loss. And I actually got to speak to that one loss, which was Jarena Bars. And I put that clip up on Pure Evil MMA podcast, up on Apple iTunes. If you're too lazy to go listen to it, I'm just going to give you a little hint in right now. Pretty much he told Landsberg, you want to keep your hands up. And that was the name of the podcast, this name of the episode. So Chris Cyborg, of course, going down to Brazil. She has a huge crowd behind her right here. This would be huge if she makes this win, but even bigger if Landsberg can seal this win on her UFC debut. The pressure's on her. You asked me, she did seem a little nervous at the weigh-in. She was looking forward to this. If you look at her social media page and you scroll down, it looked like she was really excited for this fight. Then, as of today, seeing her at the weigh-ins, she did seem like, wow, I'm the main event at UFC Brazil Fight Night 95. My opponent's Chris Cyborg, and she's walking out here with her face painted in the Brazilian flag. Woo! She seemed a little nervous, if you ask me. So, and that's accepted. I can totally understand that. But you signed up for this fight. If you win it, your whole life is going to change. So I sent her a quick message. Told her, you know what? Just enjoy your moment here. This is your moment. Enjoy it. You only live once. This is your time. Calm down. Relax. Everything's going to be fine. So I'm looking forward to that. I think that she can get Cyborg into the second round. We watched Cyborg in the I know a lot of you guys are probably freaking out right now hearing that, but we watched a more patient Cyborg in that last fight that she had, and a lot of you guys are going to yell at me for that. She did go right in and get the knockout, but she didn't go right in for the kill. Oh, man, Leslie Smith thought that she had what it took to take Cyborg out, and that fight ended quickly. Cyborg with 14 knockouts, no wins by submission, and 2 wins going to decision. You got to watch out for this girl. She has amazing striking. Ground and pound will kill you. Do not want to... Any solid punch, we saw her send Gina back to Hollywood. Any solid punch landed by Cyborg is going to be devastating. She's an explosive fighter. I'm looking forward to it. You guys are looking forward to it. Let me know what you guys think. What's going to be your fight of the night? Who do you think is going to win it? Roy Nelson versus Bigfoot Silva? Is it going to be Paul Felder versus Trinaldo? Let me know what you guys think. I'm totally pumped up for this. Invicta fights are going down right now. Make sure you guys all give me a follow on Twitter at evil_echo. That's EVIL_ECCO. Make sure you give us a follow on Facebook. Press like. Instagram, same name, evil_echo. And give us a follow on Twitter, just at Pure Evil MMA. I hope you have a great night. I'm going to be giving you guys all my reaction for this card. So make sure you guys look forward to that. Of course, I'm going to be giving content updates. Have a great night, everyone. I'm Evil Eddie from Pure Evil MMA. I'm out. Make sure you guys all behave yourself. I'm out. Go watch those Invicta fights and have a great night.